Hello there.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Getting on the grind and improving your mind every single video that we do. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Tonight's topic is going to be about fatherhood and why every child needs a father. We're going to play this oldie but goodie clip right now. So let's show you guys something here, really quick.
Yep.
It's just sort of hammer on the point. I guess from like an old show from the early 2000s. I guess I don't know what show it is, but take a look at this heart wrenching moment here.
Yeah, of course.
Go back.
You love her, right? Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Now, you're not an adult till you're 18. Do you want me to be your daddy for the next 8 years, son? Huh?
Yes, sir.
You do? Why you want me to be your daddy?
I have no daddy.
You have no daddy? Well, let me tell you something. Come here, give me a hug.
Uh-oh. Human trafficking. That just happened. All right.
Yeah, he just couldn't hold it, guys. So the message here is pretty simple, straight up. We live in a world where it seems that there's a unspoken sort of a lot of tension between men and women, especially like it's mostly online. It's like on the YouTube streets, the internet and stuff. There's a lot of men and women division. If you go on YouTube, there's a lot of podcasts that are hating on both sexes. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of fighting. A lot of this is due to, of course, lack of leadership in men. How there's basically an agenda to make men weak, and it is working, by the way. So congratulations on the agenda for doing that.
Yes.
But the main thing is that a lot of guys don't even know how to properly lead a woman, and part of that is actually ejaculating inside of her, not knowing what to do next.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys are so dumb with the way you just nut in anything, and when you do that, you mess up the ecosystem. Because when you're not, especially when you're not like married to a girl and you have no direction with your life, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing, you act on your impulses, you nut in the girl, and she's dumb enough to let you, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to actually pay any money, or I don't want to do anything about this, or the girl doesn't want to get an abortion, or if it's illegal now, who knows in your state, and then all hell breaks loose, and then single mom, no dad, and then here we are, you got situations like that. The whole situation is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
To me, it's very irresponsible, and the thing is that men need to take accountability for their actions. Like Andrew was saying, there's guys out there that are just dumb, and they just insert and inseminate into women for without really understanding if that's who they actually want to be with, if that's actually someone that they want to have a child with or a future with, and they just do it just because of pleasure reasons and stuff like that. And then oops, oh, I actually have to deal with real responsibilities now, and have
Or they just
and
leave
have a
and
child.
they're dumb, yeah.
And then they don't have any responsibility, or no, they haven't had real responsibility before, and so they are afraid of how real this actually becomes, and so they decide to say, oh, see you later, and then pretty much just dip out and not help though this woman help help raise the child that you help create. And so you end up creating a vicious cycle, because a lot of people, and I think I think I explained this a little bit more in a different live stream, you could definitely check that out later, that there's this whole vicious cycle that I believe that happens, where either dealing with either divorce or even with single parents, if you dealt with it growing up, there is a good chance that you're going to have it happen again to you. And so it's being able to be aware of that, and being self-aware to the point where you make sure that you know who you want to be with, you know what you're doing with your body, you're accountable for your body and the actions that it takes, and that way you can prevent these cycles from repeating. Because I'll use this child as an example. I mean, I don't really know what he's done past this, so but I will create a scenario in the sense where this child does not have a father. Okay, so this child is not learning anything that normally a father would teach him, And this could be anywhere anything between self responsibility, self accountability, um, being able to understand how the world works, and just in the sense of um post like post high school type of thing, like understanding jobs and hard work, things like that. And he goes through life uh you know dealing with like women or whatever, and he of course has no responsibility for his actions, no accountability for his actions. And let's say he impregnates a woman, and he realizes, oh, this is too real. I never had to deal with this before. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And he leaves and escapes pretty much that situation, now creating another version of himself uh in someone else, right? And it becomes a vicious cycle that way, and it sucks, and it shouldn't be that way. But with how society has become, and how we haven't a lot of people haven't become self-aware to that, and try to right the wrongs of what is happening in the world, it's going to just keep going and keep progressing in well, it's going to decline more and more each and every generation, pretty much.
Yeah, if you look at like a lot of studies and statistics and stuff, it always talks about single parent households. Well, most of the time, single parent turns into single mom because most of the time it's the mother that's having the child, and these children are growing up without a dad. And a lot of these guys, of course, who don't take any responsibility for their actions, or the girl doesn't want to, get rid of the child, so she just keeps. And the guy's like, okay, well, bye. Sometimes he doesn't even pay child support. Sometimes he does pay child support, or the money might not go towards the woman; it'll go wherever else, to the nails. Who knows? Or it's sometimes things just get messed up, and there's always a mistake. It's always someone else's problem. People always want to blame other people for their own actions, and then we end up in today's society because we have so many weak guys out here. A lot of even if you look at crime statistics as well, a lot of people who are in prison stuff, they come from single mother households, and it's not even a mother cannot be a mom
Yeah,
and a dad.
yeah. I can't blame the single mom for those, because she's pretty much in a deficit. She's climbing a very tall mountain with no gear. I feel. And sometimes it's either like she did it to herself, or it could be one of those situations, or it just things just didn't work out, and it was a mutual thing. But now she's struggling. She has to become mom and dad, and that doesn't always work out. And I feel it's the same way for single dads too, right? I feel like single dad can't be a father and a mom. Like it doesn't work that way. It just can't. Like mothers can only really teach what mothers know, right? And fathers can really only teach what fathers know. And that's why the best what case scenario was to have a mother and a father. I know you can't really control that. Some people can't. I mean, kids can't control that, because they don't even realize, some of them don't even realize they even exist until they get to 5 6 years old. So the thing is that men, especially men, because men need to really understand how to be self-aware, and they need to have responsibility and accountability for their actions before they even think about women or anything like that. They need to figure out how to best themselves, and how to understand where they stand in life, and where they can go in life. And need to understand the consequences to their actions, because that's really what it is. Oh, let me have sex with this girl, but I don't have a condom. What are the consequences of that? If I accidentally inseminate her, I might accidentally have a child that I don't want. Maybe because that I'm thinking about that, and that doesn't sound like a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't go through with that, even though it sounds like I maybe I sound like a bitch that I don't want to have sex with her. It's so stupid. But if you understand what the possibilities can be, and you don't want the negative possibilities to happen, then you need to just not let it happen, because you don't want to risk it.
A lot of you people out there, you're not ready to have kids. Even when you think you are, you definitely are not, and you need to not go into situations without the proper education. You're just not ready. You're not even mature enough to handle yourself, let alone bring a child into this world. And that's how so many kids are messed up, because they have messed up parents who really should not be reproducing. Like, people are just getting dumber by the day, and we see it everywhere. Like, something's in the milk. something is going on, in the world right now, and I think like a lot of people are just getting naturally dumber. And technology is part to blame because social media and all that, but people need to really start taking accountability for themselves. But these young kids, a lot of them, they're growing up without dads because of the bad mistakes that the parents who created the child make. And really, it's not the child's fault. It never really is. It's the parents and people who create these situations in the first place. Like, a lot of these kids, really, they're lost. There's a lack of masculinity. Like, a lot of people wonder, why do people look towards maybe Andrew Tate or certain people online influencers? Influencing what? That's my first question. But when people go to these YouTube channels of guys teaching men how to be men, and why do these kids go to these channels? Do you ever wonder why? What's the underlying reason why they actually search up this stuff in the first place? Because they don't have any dad. They don't have a masculine figure in their life to teach them how to put a tire on a car, how to regulate their emotions, and how to navigate through the world in a masculine way. Like, a lot of these kids are literally lost. I like, there are so many single moms out here without any direction, and then they can't be mom and dad, so there's a part missing from all these kids' life, and all these kids end up messed up because they didn't get the proper education when they were really really young, and they were not shown how to be masculine. That's why, like, a lot of people look towards like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like a lot of the 80s action heroes and stuff like that, just because, well, they don't have any inspiration in their real life. Like, people with a masculine dad or masculine role model, the role model will be in their real life, but a lot of people don't have that. So they have fictional role models, which they get from movies and TV shows, and they base themselves on fictional characters that are not even real to make up for the father figure that they never had, which is very sad. A lot of these kids, just like in that clip that we showed you, a lot of these kids are literally lost, and it confuses them to a certain degree. They don't have the proper leadership. I mean, a lot of these women don't know how to, do a lot of some do. I'm not saying all don't, but they don't know how to do simple uh home improvement stuff, like how to operate a drill or put on a tire, or these women, they don't teach the boys that, so they go through other sources. There's no uncle or dad or masculine figure in the picture, they just go somewhere else. And then sometimes the kids go through a bad influence, and then they end up either on crime or they go down a dark path, and a lot of that is due to lack of discipline, which dads bring. There must be a yin and yang to every parenthood, and just raising a child. There has to be a mom and a dad. I don't think one should do it out with the other. You need the caring aspect and stuff from the mom, and the nurturing stuff. Then you need especially for guys, you need the hardcore leadership, like discipline. Like, if you say that and put the soap in your mouth, or I got to spank you if I have to. We got to bring back spanking because these kids need it, because like these kids are out of control. But you see a lot of these TikTok viral videos of people just doing, like, punching people in the face randomly, like that's I mean, we live in clown world right now. I think part of that, you got to go back to the childhood. I think is where all these problems start from, when these kids were
Yeah,
young and all that stuff.
yeah, pretty much not being accountable for what they're doing, and that really starts as children. Like you, like I've seen it so many times, either at work or just randomly in public. These kids, they're having like huge tantrums, and they're going crazy, they're doing all these different things, and the parents aren't doing anything about it. They're not stopping them, they're not disciplining them in any way. They're just letting them run wild pretty much, and that can lead to these children growing up to, doing even crazier things.
It only
And
gets worse.
yeah, and they believe that nothing will happen to them, pretty much, where there won't be any consequence to their action, and that's clearly false. And a lot of the times, the only way that they would have found out about consequences and how that uh is set up in the world is through father figures and through people who do these specific things, where they try to build and they try to create, because sometimes when people build things, they need to understand what are the consequences of like I'll use my father as an example. My father is a woodworker, he's a carpenter, and so he understands the consequences of using specific tools for specific projects, because if he wanted to use a power drill on something that's very thin, he could completely rip and destroy the board that he might have been wanting to put onto a specific piece of furniture that he was trying to make. Right? It's understanding consequences to what you do, not just only in like one little specific minute uh, area, but just in general in life is great life lessons for children. But sometimes you can only really find that from a father figure, from someone who is either your dad itself or some sort of man in your life that you look up to, that you can learn from. Like this kid that we just watched, like he probably met that drill instructor like 20 minutes before that clip started playing, and he probably looked up to that guy and was like, I want you to teach me things. I want to learn from you. I want you to be my dad because I don't have a dad. Like that's just how it is, right? Some kids, they suffer from not having fathers, and it's a shame because, and I honestly, I want to put the blame on guys the most because it's mostly our fault for these things happening, right? I want to put the blame on men because, and it's coming from a guy specifically. I don't want to put a blame on someone that I don't really know a lot about. And so I want to put the blame on us because we have the ability to not create these children that we shouldn't be creating in the first place, right? We have the ability to not uh pretty much engage in women that probably have too many red flags to really handle and to deal with long term. It's our responsibility to take care of children that are ours, that we create. If we create a child, it is now my responsibility to make sure that child grows up to be an outstanding citizen and not a degenerate, because that is part of my bloodline now. That is me in as another being. And so by having accountability, by understanding discipline and being able to learn from other people, especially maybe not having a specific if you didn't have a father, having some sort of actual father figure, someone that you can look up to that actually taught you lessons that you can then teach to the next generation. It's really about just trying to make sure that the next generation doesn't screw it up, because everything's already in a way screwed up. And if we can fix it, you going forward into the future, maybe we can change it. Maybe we could turn things around.
I mean, it really is like a serious topic because I mean, this is the foundation of the world is families and mom, dad raising child and that child growing up healthy, hopefully, and then them spreading on and keeping the family generations going. But we're living in a world now where everything is so chaotic and there's a lot of mixed messages going on. A lot of people are consuming online content now that's like kind of degrading the sexes and trying to tear them apart, even though we work better together than we do apart. There's a lot of tension going on the internet and all that kind of stuff. But really, I mean, we need to take life into our own hands and we need to be very responsible with how we procreate and how we continue the generations going forward. You don't want these kids to be lonely without a masculine presence in their life, and really without a dad. The average child will only go downhill statistically speaking, and it's a very sad, tragic tale. Now, a girl who's like is like a widow situation with the dad tragically passes away. Now that's actually a tragedy.
Yeah.
That's actually something you can't really do much about. Life is about risk, unfortunately. Sometimes we get dealt a bad hand, and that's no one's fault in particular. Sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
But really, life is about risk management and making the best possible decisions that you can in the present moment. And the best way you can do that is by identifying yourself in a certain way and moving in a certain way that you know that is fortified within you, and you know who you are and you know how you're going to live your life. You have a life path and a plan that you're going to go down to where you know when you're going to be ready to reproduce and find a girl who's worthy of being with you to have a child with you. Guys out here is not anybody. Is anybody. A girl needs to be worthy of the seed, and but and reckless guys with reckless intentions will go impregnating girls who should not be getting impregnated, and then we have the problems that we see today. A lot of single parent, which is mostly single mom households, and then we have a big rise going on down here, and it's only getting worse. We need to, at least try to solve this starting on a individual basis and then going from there. Like I know for a fact that I am not ready to have kids right now. I know that. I am very self-aware that I'm not going down that path right now, maybe in the future, but at least I'm aware of the decisions that I'm making constantly, and I'm trying to prepare for the best possible situations in the future. So I'm taking things step by step, and I'm moving in a certain way that is strategic. But a lot of you guys, you're reckless with your dick. You are reckless with it, and a lot of you girls, you don't really know any better, and you're really following the lead of a bad leader, a bad quality leader in a man that you unfortunately fell for, and you just can't help it. You just like him. You don't know why. You don't know why you let him nut in you, but you did anyway. But once again, men are the leaders, and we should be choosing. We should be the gatekeepers of sex. We could choose who to knock up and start a family with, but if you choose recklessly, then consequences will follow, and you're damaging the ecosystem and the places that we live and the countries that we live. You're just making it worse. If people were more strategic with who they sleep with, or at least, you know condoms should be sold out everywhere constantly for the sex that's going on. Every convenience store, oh, sorry, we sold out today. Trojans always sold out. Go to Target, up, sold out. Costco, oh, nope, we sold out of condoms. Sorry, that should be happening, but instead, no one's buying them. Like, there should be condom wrappers everywhere, in every garbage can, everywhere. That's how much people should be using protection. Because I know people are smashing out here and they're not using protection, and they should be. But you guys, you don't get it, and then oops, you really need to be very strategic and cautious with how you move, and you need to stop making this mistake, because you don't want to have these kids grow up without a dad. It's the worst thing that can happen. And if we can you can make the world a better place by starting with yourself, which
Yeah,
is the
it's all
most important thing.
it's all from within you, right? It's you are what is the phrase? I think it's you are your own mental point of origin, right? You have to focus on you first before you start focusing and spreading yourself amongst everything else around you. And once you have a solid foundation within you, and then you can start to figure out where to go from there for your future. And if you don't have a strong mental point of origin, then you probably should not be dealing with other people around you, especially in a way of intimacy, and especially in a way of family making. Definitely not. Do not do that, because you don't even know what you want. You aren't your mental point. You're not the origin point of your mental state. And so if you aren't there, then you need to find a way to get there before you start doing any of that. You need to understand what you want. You have to understand where you want to be. You have to understand who you want to be with. Because if you don't know who you want to be with, then you shouldn't be with anybody yet until you figure it out, until you find out. And I mean, it's fine to experience people, but don't be experiencing them unwrapped, unsafe. Be safe.
Yeah, just
Be
you
safe
gotta be
out there.
careful out here. You don't want to grow up in a world where we live in this chaos. Really, we want to try to structure everything in a certain way so that we can have things move in a direction that really makes the world a better place. And to do that, we need to start within, and we need to start making better choices, and we need to really, we got to do it for these kids and try to help them have a better life. And if we can be strategic in the way that we reproduce, start there, choosing a good woman to actually, do that with, then we can actually, it's a step in the right direction. But every child literally will be, we will be incomplete without both parents.
Yeah.
It must have both.
Yeah.
It's the best possible outcome. Remember what I said about risk management? It's the best possible outcome if a mom, traditionally, from more or less, uh, feminine mom, and then a masculine dad who can show the kid the ropes and what it means to be a man, or if it's a girl, you know, just be, daddy's little girl. You know how that goes, and it'll be a point to having the world go in a better place, because right now
Not
things are
there.
not well out there, and we're you can look at the statistics yourself. There is a massive rise of single moms out here, and you see them on dating apps everywhere. Not for me, but someone's gonna do it. I actually don't mind. A lot of people online, they'll say, "Oh, I would never date a girl with kids." Well, I mean, I would not. No, no. I don't have time for that. But I do. I encourage guys who are okay with that to do that because these kids should have a masculine role model. And it was not going to be me because I want to make my own kids. Just my opinion. Just me. But I would never make fun of a guy. I guess I already have in previous videos. I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah, I don't
The
want to be a
thing is
hypocrite.
that there are kids who don't have any father figure, whether either their father is now deceased or has left, and they have no father figure, they need somebody. And so if any man out there wants to, be with a single mom and raise that child, they need to understand that they really need to emphasize with that child on, the things that they've missed out upon up until that point, of what they need to learn about the real world, and you know ensure that they can become a, perfect perfect, but a good citizen in life, right? They need to know what it is to be a real man, woman, whatever. They need to know what it is and how to become that, because especially for boys and guys, we must become, right? And if we have a father that can show us that that's where we need to go and what we need to do, it gives the groundwork for these kids to grow up figuring it out and understanding where they need to go to become what they want. If they don't have that, then they have no foundation. They don't know what to do. They like Andrew said, they're lost. They become lost, and they don't have any good foundation to stand upon to and to build upon to become something in their future. They have to continuously try to rebuild and try to fix all the issues that they have going on in their life because they didn't have a father figure growing up, and they're trying to do these things on their own because their mom tried real hard for them, but they it of course it's not enough because you need both parents. It's just how it is. And I mean, the moms do a great job for what they can, right? They're their own people. They are just one person trying to handle a two-person job, on top of also probably working and all these other different things, right? But sometimes it isn't enough for these kids, and it's not fully their fault. I would say probably about 20% their fault, and then the rest of it's mostly the guy's fault. But the thing is that we gotta really fix the problem that's going on here, and it can really start with you out there, what you are going to do with yourself, how you are going to go about your life, and are you going to, use your intimate qualities wisely, or are you going to be reckless? Are you going to just go out unprotected and just shoot for the stars? Or are you gonna, be very strategic on how you go through life like that?
Yeah, I really encourage you guys to wear protection. If you know, just at least start by that, and then when you're ready to actually potentially have a kid, then you can let loose a little bit. Make sure you're smashing the right girl and all that. A lot of people say online or in general, oh, women are the gatekeepers to sex. Well, what if I told you that? What if the guy is the gatekeeper to sex? Because you can decide when you want to insert into her. Right? You literally decide. But a lot of guys let their other brain take hold of everything, and logic goes out the window, and they don't have the condom, so they go anyway, and then they make a mistake, and they can't handle it, and then the girl gets pregnant, and she doesn't want to kill life, right? She doesn't want to do that. They'll probably scar her forever, make her damage forever. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Getting that today, but she wants to keep it, but the guy doesn't want to keep it because he was in the moment. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Oops. And then boom, you're on child support. You ruin your life. You're depressed, and then your life sucks because you made one big mistake because you couldn't control yourself. A lot of people do not have any self-control. They let the pussy get to them first, and then they don't put on the protection, and they go in anyway, and then they make a mistake, and they can't handle it. If you can't handle a girl, basically means you can't handle yourself. You can't even handle your own emotions. You can't handle your own other. You cannot handle your other brain, and then you make a mistake, and then you don't want to be a dad because you're a moron, and then the girl's single mom, and then kid doesn't have a dad, and really the kid loses the most. The
Yeah.
kid's the loser in the situation, and and that's sad because you literally you'll destroy part of that kid's upbringing because you made the mistake of reproducing when you were not ready because you did not want to lose protection. You went off the rails, and then this happens, and this happens all the time, literally all the time, and it's very sad. But but you, if you're watching this, can at least be part of making the difference in being self-aware what you're doing and just being very cautious when you're going out there having fun doing your thing. Do it responsibly. Try to actually think about what you're doing, and really condoms are not too expensive, at least yet. I mean, you can literally go to Walmart and you can get like a whole pack of them for not even that much money. It's really not a big deal. Or just don't do it at all. Just don't do it. If you can't handle a girl and you can't handle yourself, just don't do it. Don't do it because you're just gonna, and then you're gonna complain about it. Oh, should not have done that. And then we're gonna be here saying we told you so. We did it anyway. Is what you get. So
Get what you get and don't get upset.
yeah. So please be aware with what you're doing with your life, and we want to try to prevent any fatherless children. At least if there's a choice for a dad to be in a kid's life, you should do it. In a certain perspective, I would encourage guys to be a stepdad, or if you notice, most of the girls that get like a stepdad for their child, usually the girl's attractive. Like I don't really see a lot of really how do I say this nicely? I don't see a lot of obese women with kids that are single moms like getting guys, and usually they're just complaining online. There's maybe might be some with that, I'm not sure, but I think a lot of guys, if you choose to date a single mom and wife her up and be a stepdad, I mean, who am I to judge you on that? Really? I mean, I've made jokes in like other live streams, I guess, but really, it's not a big deal. And if you should be able
They're
to choose,
necessary.
I believe in choice.
Yeah.
Stepdads can actually help a child's life a lot just by being a masculine presence and teaching a boy how to be a man. So stepdads have their good things too about them. So yeah, for the good of the ecosystem, for the good of the colony, I would say that stepdads are pretty good, if as long as they're not like the bad stepdads that
Yeah.
are you guys know what I'm talking about, the ones that abuse the like
Watching
if you're not comfortable with dating a single mom and you're just doing it for the pussy, please go away.
Please stop.
Please stop
Get
and
some
get
help.
help immediately. Don't date a single mom if you're not trying to go down that route. Be responsible with what you're trying to do, and make sure you know who you are and what you're trying to do. Just be responsible and be self-aware with the actions that you take. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
That way you can prevent, all this unnecessary tragedy going on here. So, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section, and make sure you give the video a like. Hit that like button, help us out, and subscribe to our channel. And it'd help us out greatly. And we're gonna see you guys in the next video.